This video is going to detail the type of abuse that we need to protect children from and how to spot signs of this happening. What do we need to protect children from? Sadly, the list is long. The types of abuse we are going to discuss in this video are physical, emotional, sexual, neglect, bullying, radicalization, child trafficking. But do we know how to recognize the signs in children? Generally speaking, one sign we always should look out for is a sudden change in behavior. Maybe a child becomes withdrawn or starts misbehaving. This is not so easy for you to spot when on supply. However, it is important to listen to others. Support staff and other children are often quick to pick up on such changes in behavior and they will tell you about it. Now, this is not enough on its own. This is not enough on its own to warrant a referral, but worth noting for the class teacher. Other more obvious signs are those of a physical nature. For example, a child may arrive in school with unexplained bruises or cuts. It is not your job to investigate, but a simple caring question such as, "Oh dear, I can see that you have a big bruise on your cheek. Tell me how that happened." Don't ask leading or judgmental questions such as, "Who did that to you?" I'll talk more about it later. A child may make a disclosure to you. Be prepared. Stay professional and never make a promise to keep a secret. Stay professional always. Again, I'll go through step-by-step approach later on. Let's consider the different type of abuse and how to spot the signs. We will start with physical abuse. Physical abuse is when someone hurts or harms a child or a young person on purpose. This includes hitting, punching, kicking, shaking, poisoning, burning, biting, breaking bones, etc. It also includes making up the symptoms of an illness or causing a child to become unwell. All children have accident, trips and falls. If a child regularly has injuries, there seems to be a pattern of injuries or the explanation doesn't match the injuries, then this should be reported. Next, we have emotional abuse. Emotional abuse or psychological abuse involves the continual emotional mistreatment of a child. It can involve deliberately trying to scare, humiliate, isolate, or ignore a child. Emotional abuse is often a part of other kinds of abuse, such as it can be difficult to spot the signs or tell the difference, though it can also happen on its own. Emotional abuse includes humiliation, constant criticism, ridiculing, punishing a child too hard, or not recognizing their limitations, exposure to domestic abuse or drug taking, not allowing them to have friends, persistently ignoring them, emotional neglect, never showing kindness, love, or positive feelings. There might not be any obvious physical signs of emotional abuse or neglect, and a child might not tell anyone what's happening until they reach a stage where they're not comfortable. So this is called a crisis point. However, they may be present on low confidence, be very emotional, and have difficulty making friends. Again, if you have any of these concerns, it's worth alerting the school so they can monitor over time. Now we have sexual abuse. Knowing the signs of sexual abuse can help give a voice to children. Sometimes children won't understand that what is happening to them is wrong. They may know no different, or they might be scared to speak about it. You might notice that a child avoids being alone with or frightened of someone they know. They may be reluctant or refuse to go home from school with a particular adult, for example. They may use language or draw pictures of sexual behavior you wouldn't expect them to know at their age. This is common one. You may get reports of nightmares or bedwetting, or the child may start self-harming, and this happens even in young children. Moving on to neglect. Neglect can show itself in many forms. A child may present as hungry, dirty, or wearing inappropriate clothing for the weather. They may be very tired, late for school, or have no lunch provided. Generally, the staff in school would monitor the situation as long as it's not too extreme, or keep a log. This will help build a picture and make referrals for support for the family. This is difficult if you are only in school for a short time. However, if you notice any of these indicators, you should note it down for the school. It may help them to complete their assessments of the whole situation. Unfortunately, some children experience a range of different abuse within their own home. So be alert in school as children deal with it in different ways. Some children are in a high state of stress because of their home life and will often present with poor behavior, aggression, and frustration. Be aware of toxic trio. This is used to describe the issues of domestic abuse, mental ill health, and substance misuse, which have been identified as common features of families where harm to children and adults has occurred. Next, we have bullying. Bullying is a form of abuse, but beware of the term bullying can often be overused. With that said, please be alert to the way children treat other children and are being treated by others. It's behavior that can hurt a child both physically or emotionally, and it is usually repeated over a long period of time. Cyberbullying is becoming more widespread. Unlike bullying in the real world, online bullying is a real concern. They go via social networks, gaming, and mobile phones. Sometimes children who are being bullied down want to go to school and often say they are ill. Often they appear nervous, have low confidence, are withdrawn, or have problems with eating or sleeping. The lunchtime supervisors or parents may report this to you. It's worth noting for the teacher. Moving on, radicalization. Radicalization is the process by which one comes to support terrorism and extremist ideologies associated with terrorist groups. In school, you have legal duty to prevent radicalization. The Prevent Duty, the Counter-Terrorism Security Act contains a duty on specified authorities to have due regard for the need of prevent people from being drawn into terrorism. As teaching professionals, we need to be alert of the signs of radicalization and report if any concerns. Extremists might target children and tell them that they can be a part of something special later, brainwashing them into cutting themselves off from their friends and families. So, how we spot signs of potential radicalization? Children who are at risk of radicalization may have low self esteem or be victims of bullying or discrimination. However, these signs don't necessarily mean a child is being radicalized. It may be normal teenager behavior or a sign that sometimes else is going on. Well, radicalization can be really difficult to spot. Signs that may indicate a child is being radicalized include becoming a loner, talking like it's from a script, unwilling to express views, disrespect towards others, angry or sensitive. Now we know about abuses at large, and I think we as educators should be very careful about it, very watchful, and safeguarding is our duty.